Nestled high in the Rocky Mountains and broadcasting from the Pineapple to the Big Apple. As sure as the north wind blows and the South Sea flows, the Conspirati Show begins now.
It began in healthy-looking pigs, months, perhaps years ago. A new coronavirus spread silently within herds. Gradually, farmers started getting sick. Infected people got a respiratory illness with symptoms ranging from mild flu-like signs to severe pneumonia. The sickest required intensive care. Many died. Experts.
Well, good evening. Here we are. It's a big event. It's a big event here at the Conspirati podcast. I'm Just James, joined as always with my co-host and brainchild, Josh Edwards. We're here to talk to you guys tonight about a lot of events. You know, there's always some events going on. Shit, you know, Josh, I don't know. I think I could probably, if I had to, I could probably think of at least 200 events just this week that I've gone through. 200, right on the nose. Is there any event that I'm missing?
I would assume that you're missing event 201, which is something that you might have because it occurred a scant 6 months ago, just about.
Almost on the nose. That's right. So yeah, let's just dive right into it, guys. If you can't tell already, we're talking about event 201 in a world that looks an awful lot like ours. Event 201 was, excuse me. Event 201 was a global pandemic exercise that was put on not too long ago. Matter of fact, it was October 18th of 2019. Weird. 5 months ago to the day. So, what, Josh? Event 201. What kind of happened? You want to give us kind of the lowlights, as it were?
Well, lowlights, perhaps in our opinion, but from a highlights perspective, from them, you had the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, which is an interesting group, holding a tabletop exercise. So much like you and your friends as D&D games back in the day, except with real people's lives, no dwarves, witches, wizards, or any other kind of fantasy characters, as well as the World Economic Forum and our good friends from where we grew up, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, did a tabletop exercise to really see how a pandemic would affect us throughout the world. So if we took another coronavirus, which is a buzzword these days for those of you who aren't up on the news, so basically a flu virus, what would happen if it transferred from an animal, somewhat like the swine flu, to people and started spreading around the world with various, would be the word, James, vigor and some, I don't know, ineptness of government and other avenues to fight a virus such as that. What would happen to our travel? What happened to the global economy? What type of controls might need to be put in for the spread of misinformation around coronavirus, this particular one that was in this event.
And it turns out that It's actually not good because 65 million night elves lost their lives during this. Wasn't pretty. Decimated the lands of Middle Earth. Pretty sure I've just thrown two different references out there at the same time: Warcraft and Tolkien. But no, Josh. I mean, like you said, this is a bunch of nerds sitting around the World Health Organization planning germ games. Effectively, this is just like our military running, hostile exercises. This is the scientists doing that version of it. So they bring everybody in, they compile all the data, and in this case, they've actually laid out a very specific thing that happened, and it gets a little bit creepy. Kind of, I'm not saying one way or the other, but it definitely gets my tinfoil hackles kind of up in an uproar. It began in China with pigs and a coronavirus, and obviously, this is not the first coronavirus we've dealt with. Everybody out there's probably had a coronavirus at one point in time.
And we did have a pig-based coronavirus in the recent memory.
Swine no, I think that was swine. I don't think it was pig. The fact when they kind of start laying this out, I mean, so I guess we should qualify it. So first and foremost, you can go to the website. I mean, it's right out there for anybody who's curious. It's the Center for Health and Security.org, /event 201. You could literally just Google event 201 and it'll take you right to that page. But they bring everybody together. I mean, there's a bunch of highlights, on this top video. A good buddy of mine actually sent it to me, and just the highlights, and it just kind of breaks it all down. And then there's 5 different videos below that where it lays out all the steps. But they brought people from everywhere. I mean, reps from the World Bank, from Johnson and Johnson, diplomatic leaders, you name it. Everybody was there. And when they get kind of breaking it down and kind of talking about what happens, I mean, this thing, and if you look at the graphs that they put in there, it is eerily prophetic, I would say, when it comes to what we're currently experiencing as far as spread, lethality, X, Y, and Z. They talk, remember in the beginning, Josh, they talked about how it would only be affecting dense urban areas, like one dense urban city. Wuhan.
Right. And interestingly enough, for me, was that Johns Hopkins, the images that they show is eerily reminiscent of the actual tracker that Johns Hopkins has out there today.
It's spot on in every country that's experienced it too, because they break it down with their trackers. They show it per region and then kind of across the globe. And I don't know, dude, you start looking at those graphs and looking pretty similar, but they break it down. And I guess not to kind of spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen this thing. So again, they said that this thing raged for
18 months.
8 months.
Yep, a year and a half.
65 million people died based on their little germ game that they had.
Because it hit the urban areas. If you go and watch it, it starts out in rural areas, moves into urban areas, and that's where you have a huge explosion of the infected, and it just decimates folks. And they
talk about travel.
They talk about travel. They also talk about who is the most would be the most vulnerable, which are folks with underlying conditions, which is, similar to today. But to be fair, any flu is going to be more deadly to folks who have any respiratory issues, any sort of underlying health issues.
Yeah, I mean, that strikes me as like you're 80% more likely to drown if you go in the ocean and you don't know how to swim. It's kind of, yeah, ankle deep, I think you're good, but for if you're in calf deep water, you better, I don't know, notify next of kin type of thing, because we've seen outbreaks and pandemics over the years. Like I think it was H1N1 killed 40-year-olds, like that was its kind of target demographic. Versus this one, I don't think they got into any age specific stuff. I think it was basically just, if you have underlying health conditions, you're probably going to die. But what I found to be particularly creepy, so again, strap on the tinfoil beanie with me here. You take everything that they said in Event 201. It's 18 months. 65 million people die. And they base that on 80 to 90% of the entire globe, because they basically throughout the exercise are like, a vaccine is a foregone conclusion. We're never going to be able to get one in time. And if anybody who's been paying any type of attention about vaccines, is about 18 months, and take the current situation with Corona. I don't give a shit. If you plant twice as many apple trees, you're still going to have to wait to harvest the apples. It's not a matter of just throwing money at it, because there's certain things that have to happen. But so if you take Event 201, which burned for 18 months, killed 65 million people, based on 80 to 90% infection of the globe, the 7.7 billion people, Josh?
That's the current count as of, I think, April 2019.
And then we figured, based on 80% of that, we're looking at 5 and change.
Yep, 5.6 billion people.
That put the lethality at this thing at 1.2%. Pretty close to what we're dealing with on Corona, factoring in the mild cases, the undiagnosed cases, and X, Y, and Z.
And factoring in the fact that some countries have been not as overwhelmed as, say, Italy or...
Yeah, Mongolia is doing great.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking to travel, I know that travel industry is really taking a beating. And, we're already talking about airline bailouts here. So why don't we all chip in, help the airlines, because from 2009 to 2019, they were spending all of their money on stock buybacks. So don't feel too bad for them. But if you're looking to help them, fly to Mongolia. What was it, 6 cases?
All they need to do is remove at least 14 rows from the plane, and I'd be happy to take that flight. That's
right, 6 feet. Fun fact, it takes 14 rows of airline seats to equal proper social distancing. And, in Event 201, they spoke about that. They talked about how government's kind of shifting on the fly and trying to get things done, and what measures we would put in place. It is like looking into a crystal ball, dude.
Especially especially this last week, it's almost word for word like Jared Kushner and Mike Pence and Donald Trump went, I heard something about some 201, and literally watched only the highlight reel.
Yep.
Not the 3 hours. And it kind of took the cues from there.
Yeah, it's like the was it the Dunning something or other effect? I read some stuff about that Dunning something or other effect, and so now I know everything about it. But yeah, they literally just took the Cliff Notes and they're running with it. They're like, oh, well, this little video said to do that, and we'll try social distancing. We'll try this and that. And then in the video, they speak about how it ain't gonna cut it. Social distancing can go fuck itself. It ain't gonna cut it.
But they're not aiming for an A here. They're kind of doing a C.
Ooh, are you saying this is graded on a curve?
Yes.
That we need to flatten?
Mm-hmm. We basically we want to take the average of the entire score for the world, and that's what we're aiming for.
Can we throw out... So, I mean, if we're doing that, do we throw out Italy and throw out South Korea?
It would improve our numbers.
It definitely would. God damn those South Koreans.
And the Russians. Really? Russia's got it locked down.
We do not allow coronavirus to come into country.
I think they're all in Siberia.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the Johns Hopkins map wasn't specific to exactly where in Russia they have tossed the bodies, but probably Siberia.
Well, you don't really want to put it in Siberia, do you? Then they just freeze, and you got to deal with them in the spring. I don't know.
They did. They don't matter unless this is actually truly World War Z. Then what we learned in World War Z was
we need Brad Pitt.
Winter helps.
We need Brad Pitt. Well, are you talking about the book or the movie? Because we learned that in the book, which was pretty good. Not even super sexy Brad Pitt with a scarf could save that movie. Ugh.
No, the book is awesome. If you haven't read it, go check it out. Max
I mean,
Brooks, Mel Brooks's kid.
Yeah. And Mel Brooks is what, 89, 90? Still kicking? If anybody gives that man coronavirus, I will personally kick your ass. That man is a treasure.
I agree. Tom Hanks, I'll sacrifice Tom Hanks for
Look,
Mel
you lose
Brooks.
some. You lose some, okay?
I'll strangle Tom Hanks myself.
You see, I've been cooped up in the house for 6 days, so I've been tumbling down some pretty weird YouTube rabbit holes. I'm not sure I trust that Tom Hanks guy. A little bit too likable. A little bit too trustworthy, eh? There's no crying in baseball. He fucking put that out in his tweet.
Or if you want to tie different conspiracies together, possible client of Epstein, maybe he called up Trump and said, "Hey, I got this corona. Help me out, or I'm going to confirm the black book."
Well, and then you look at even the corona thing too. Like back to that, that old chestnut of a conspiracy that's like 2 months old. China did just, I don't know much about economic trade, but I guess the trade deal didn't really favor them. They had Hong Kong going on. Not that I really subscribe to that this was released because of a trade war, but it's fun to kick around. But not to go off on a complete side note, back to World War Z, I will say what made that movie suck more than anything, fast zombies. That's just not even an argument. What makes zombies terrifying to me is the low gear lethality. They just keep coming. If you got a zombie out there running a 4.440, I'm fucked within the first 30 seconds of that movie. Hence, I like slow zombies. But back to 201.
You're old school. I understand. I don't want fast zombies. I want Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead.
Mid-afternoon of the Dead,
Sure.
See, it seems like that's the world we're getting to. We had a fast news cycle kind of coming into this to begin with, but the way that this story is evolving or mutating, one could say, it's, dude, every day that goes by, this thing is scary because it follows more of the event 201. I know how that story ended. That story ended with 65 million people dead. This one, the fact that it is so spot on. I mean, across the board, there's really nothing they've said that hasn't come true. It talks about what I found to be really creepy, and I don't know about you. So quick history lesson for kind of everybody out there, and that's the thing. I'm addicted to context, so I have to kind of lay everything out. But what I found to be really creepy about this thing is all the talk of governments and business working together. Governments and business, governments and business, governments and business. And that whole thing just didn't sit well with me because, again, back to the history thing, it was the Treaty of Westphalia, Peace of Westphalia, 1648. And, it ended the 30 Years' War. And effectively what it said is that the nation state is king of the heap when it comes to laws and power. Nothing is more powerful than the nation state. That's where it is. And it's supposedly been that way since, 1648. But I don't know how many corporations are more powerful than, I don't know, any of the hundreds of nation states out there that aren't very powerful,
But why do they need our money then?
Well, that's the thing. The human currency.
Are you saying human currency as in money, or human currency as in the machines are actually behind this? We're going to the Matrix. We're going to start powering their batteries after we've nuked the world in order to take out their solar.
Oh, but it was us that blocked out the sun. No, I think they need us to consume whatever the fuck they're selling, quite frankly. But
so what you're saying, and then it was a plot by Georgia Pacific, Kelly Paper Goods, anyone who happens to make toilet paper?
Yep. It's effectively that you cut right to the quick. The entire thing is a sham, a ruse, a cunning trick put out by the toilet paper barons.
I mean, I guess the bears kind of hugging themselves after taking a shit wasn't a good enough marketing strategy.
It was a really good strategy, because, hey, do bears shit in the woods? Oh, that bear's shitting on my TV. I'm going to go buy some Charmin. Just wait till you fuckers out there having to split your 2-ply into single ply. Then you'll know pain.
And also, you'll know a long amount of time having to do that.
It's really tedious. It's really tedious. And you can't eat toilet paper, folks. You just can't do it. But, looking at 201 here, I mean, you had representatives, the Johnson & Johnson rep. Oh, man. Everybody that I watched in that video really gave me I think the clinical term is heebiest of the jeebies, man. I don't know about you.
You'd say that Johnson & Johnson, the makers of baby powder, would have poor intent and want to make a profit?
It's not like they would ever have stuff that causes cancer in their baby powder and then know about it and then cover it up to keep making money on baby powder. They would never do that.
No, I don't think that sounds like a conspiracy.
That sounds crazy. Yeah, I'm just sorry. I'm getting crazy there. Yeah, Johnson & Johnson.
They make no more tears, for your babies when you're giving a bath. How can a company that makes that be evil?
Well, because you can't have tears if you're dead from cancer. Josh, that's how.
Unfortunately, it's the baby's mom that's dead from cancer, not the baby.
You lose some, decrease the surplus population. But I mean, they've had so many just wildly unethical things over the years. Go look it up. Go just Google Johnson & Johnson, scandals, and you'll have a fairly thick reading list. And again, like the cancer one, that's nuts. I'm not just joking. That happened. Were they the ones with the baby formula too?
No, I don't think it was them. That might have been like Nestle or
I think it was Nestle. You're right.
Other ones, yeah.
Where they had a whole PR campaign to say that formula is better than breastfeeding, so they could sell formula when it's not. I mean, certain ones need it, absolutely, but come on, these corporations are not your friend. But when you see him talking, everything they laid out was, plans to have, like the Johnson & Johnson guys, like, we need to have a global fund where everybody can get cancer and baby powder. And they talked about, like, one of the big things I noticed is they're talking about the travel agency or the travel industry, how it's just taking a beating and blah, 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 blah. And here we are talking about what the airlines say. They had a number, didn't they, Josh, on what they expect from a bailout from coronavirus?
I think it was something like, I don't know, I want to say 50 billion.
I think that sounds right.
I think it was 50 billion. 45 billion dollars. I cruelly thought that they wanted more than that.
Well, here's a fun fact. It's actually 45 billion, but there's an additional 5 billion in fees because they want to check the bag with the money in it. You know how it goes.
It's a lot of bags to pack $45 billion in.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You don't want to check it because the 45 billion is going to end up in Dallas, and their flight was to Chicago.
So you're saying you're flying American?
I don't think I'll be flying for a while. I think I'll be driving as this thing kind of burns on. What's really crazy though is when you talk about the prophetic nature of this whole event 201, they said that the economy, and they talked a lot about the economic hit from it, and they predicted that the stock markets would lose 20 to 40% of their value during this. And as of today, March 18th, what are we at on the Dow Jones?
19,898.
So it's lost what percentage of its value since this thing kicked off?
Over the last 6 months.
Just go back a month even too.
We dropped from 29,348 as of February 19th to where we are today, which would be Let me just
It's like 30%, 32%.
Yeah, about 32%. We'll be generous and say 31.
And if you say Event 201 called for 20 to 40%, and we are not out of the woods yet on this, I think they probably hit the nail on the head.
I think they did, except, we could talk about something else interesting when it comes to the market and high frequency trading and the fact that, the market keeps whipsawing up 1,000, down 1,000, up 2,000, down 2,000. Maybe another episode, but something wacky seems to be happening there.
The algorithms aren't looking too good, but this is actually the first day since this whole thing kicked off, really, where it took an absolute pounding today. Dropped 1,400 point or like 1,350, and futures are already looking down for tomorrow. So maybe this is when the bottom drops out and we see it fall another 5,000 points in the next 2-3 days. That's kind of my guess. I think by the trade bell, I'm coming out now. Hopefully we get this episode out by then so I can get all those lovely emails telling me how wrong I was. But as of today, March 18th, the Dow Jones closed at 19,898. I'm going to say come Monday morning at the trade bell open, man, let's go 16,000.
I'm not going to say that isn't going to happen, but I am going to go the opposite. I think it stays steady because Wall Street finally got what it wanted. Free money for not doing anything.
That's weird. I didn't know my interests in Wall Street's aligned because that's precisely what I want.
Yeah. Hey, they're doing nothing but coke on Wall Street. It's pretty much the stoners next level.
That's a good point. I just want to be Charlie Sheen without the AIDS and the alleged rape from Wall Street. That's really what I'm shooting for. Daryl Hannah, no AIDS. No, Daryl Hannah from the 80s, no AIDS, no alleged child rape.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly. Supposedly. No.
Please don't sue us. Allegedly.
No. Can't sue anything.
Sue Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
Absolutely. Man, what a grifter that Corey Feldman is. Good God. Whew. That's a rough one. I love how one of the last of the great child star train wrecks is turning out to be one of the biggest. And here I thought Dana Plato was going to, keep the title, but nope. Old Corey Feldman still going for it. Bless his heart.
Well, keep in mind, we still got some folks in JV that still have.
Yeah, but see, now there's laws, though. So they'll die of drug overdoses, of course. But I want the tailspin. I want the Gary Coleman diving on the hood of a car at a Walmart. And it breaks my heart to watch it. But at the same time, we're never going to see those anymore. Because, again, their parents can't steal all their money. You can only take like 10% now, I think. There's some pretty strong laws in place.
They can't steal their money, but I'm pretty sure that JoJo Sawa or whatever on Nickelodeon is going to flame out, and we will be eating popcorn and being able to watch it play out on cell phone videos when, she shaved her head or done something else stupid.
Well, what's that kid on Nickelodeon? The Ryan's Playhouse?
I have no idea what that is. My kid is way too old.
Oh, let me tell you, as the father of a 6 and 3-year-old, there's a show on Nickelodeon. I believe it's Nickelodeon. Ryan's Playdate, and it's this chubby little kid and his stupid little parents, and it's the worst thing I've ever seen. It makes me want to go out and start licking banisters just to catch corona and get it over with. It's the worst thing ever. But this kid is loaded. I think he made like over $50 million last year.
Is that more than the kid that's making a bunch of bank by just opening toys?
I think that's the kid. No, his net worth as of last year was $30 million. And I'm pretty sure he's the kid that just opened up toys and played with them.
Are you sure that it's not so much that you hate the kid, but you just hate that you didn't think of that idea to monetize your kids by opening presents?
Well, it's both. It's effectively both. But I try to think about being that kid. I mean, at least you take the '80s child stars. Like I was an actor. You played with toys, so yes, you're filthy rich. But isn't doesn't Maslow have something to say about that? Isn't he to say like need to feel fulfilled? You gonna tell me that kid at age 25? Probably won't have any. At 35, he's not gonna be like, I peaked at 6. This sucks.
Yeah, I mean, but he also probably doesn't have quite the same access to cocaine as child
Well, not
stars did.
now. He's fucking 8 years old, Josh. But at 35, he'll have plenty of cocaine.
I'm not going to put it past anyone. I mean, when Dana Plato start?
Well, I think season 2. um,
So she was 12, so he's got 4 years to go.
Just the check's in the mail, Ryan. The check's in the mail. Again, they're looking at 201, like the whole Bill and Melinda Gates, and there's TED Talks out there, and the old scrawny, meek-looking Bill Gates. The next war we fight will not be with nuclear weapons. It'll be with microbes. Talking about pandemics. He's been out there talking about wanting to depopulate the world, and there's some very weird stuff there. Again, dunning something or other effect. I read a few article titles and kind of left it there, but some pretty weird shit with what he's been saying. And then you pair all that with him stepping down from Microsoft and Berkshire Hathaway, like what, 2 days ago? It's a little weird.
Yeah, I think it might have been late last week. Something like that.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of theories out there saying that he let this out. Bill Gates did this, blah, 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 blah. And, I mean, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation gave $65 million for this thing, Event 201.
This is your comeuppance for hating Clippy.
All right. Mock my paperclip, I'll show you. Die from holes in your lungs. It's very odd timing, wouldn't you say? Him stepping down from Microsoft?
It seems odd. I'd wonder if we all of a sudden see him leading some sort of organization in the future to, air quotes, prevent the next pandemic.
The only thing that would make sense to me is like, I kind of see it going one of two ways. Like either A, maybe these people out there are right and he had a hand in this, or B, the guy's crazy smart and he's like, well, I see how this is going to end. Quick, Melinda, to the doomsday bunker.
It could be either or. He can also afford a ride on Elon Musk's SpaceX and just get the fuck out.
That's probably the best seat in the house for this entire thing. Imagine, you get up to the International Space Station. You're about to begin your however long tour, 12-month tour up there?
12-month tour of eating paste, yes.
And then this kicks off. They got to feel pretty good about their situation right now.
I agree, unless that last capsule that just got sent up recently has coronavirus on it.
You all right there, Carl? Oh, just a little cough. Let's get to work, boys. There's, now I'm going to have to research that because there's got to be some sort of a quarantine before they go up there, right?
Before they go up there? I don't know about it.
Even without corona.
I don't know about the equipment that's going up there.
Yeah, I'm saying there's got to be some sort of sterilization and something or other. Got to be.
I assume the cold vacuum of space would be it, but I don't know. I can't be 100% sure on that. I am not a scientist.
Well, in space, no one can hear you scream, but they can hear you cough.
Yep. And then you point at him and go, he got the Rona.
Mm-hmm. He's Rona'd up. In the last video on the Event 201, they talk about kind of things that we could have done. And they say this in the video, things we could have done over the next, and things we can do over the next few years to prepare for the next pandemic. Because again, these pandemics, they're not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. But kind of awkward on October 18th, 2009, over the next few years, okay, here we are. They say the first case was reported there in December. Over the next 45 days.
Well, the weird part is the first person supposedly in China that they trace it back to was in November.
I heard that too, but I didn't substantiate it, so I was just kind of going with December, the official narrative.
Well, either way, you'd have to wonder either it's 1 month or 2 months, and then we're really splitting hairs on when it started.
Right. Well, I mean, there's some theories out there again, like putting on the tinfoil. So there's some theories out there that before they do something like this, they have to tip their hand and kind of show you their plan as part of their evil Illuminati lizard takeover. And I haven't found anything on that. But like I said, if somebody can send me something about that and say, hey, here's where, and please, not a video of some guy in his basement screaming about how the Illuminati are going to take over the world. Like, send me something. I guess it's tough to use the word tangible when talking about, Illuminati overlords overthrowing the population and having to show their hand first. But if there's anything somewhat tangible, I'd love to read it.
So is the theory that they're just so much of a megalomaniac that they just want to be like, here it is out in the open, ha ha ha, everyone laughs at it, and then they just go there and go, fuck you, we've now implemented it.
Well, no, it's not that. I mean, the theory is effectively that, we'll call them the lizard people for this, Illuminati lizard people,
Crab
red
people.
steel, look like crab, walk like people, whatever you want to call it, that before they do something like this, they have to, like, I'm sure there's some shit about 9/11, how they, had a video of a Simpsons airplane crashing, something. They have to show you their plan for whatever reason. Like, I think falls into their all Satanists and Dark Lord type of shit. But they have to show their hand, and I mean, Jesus Christ, this event 201, man, lays it out for you. And let me check this. This would be interesting because like when you dip your toe in that Illuminati lake, there's a lot of like any good conspiracy, you can take one point and then through a little bit of manipulation, bending, turning, you can connect it to anything. But first case of coronavirus, what was the date?
Reported, I thought it was like January. Was it January or just December?
See, this is saying 55-year-old individual from Hubei province in China may have been the first person to contract COVID-19 disease causing the coronavirus spreading across the globe. That case dates back to November 17th, 2019.
Yeah, so 1 month after the event. But when you dig into that Illuminati item, one would have to think that if you thought about people who are in the Illuminati, Bill and then by extension Melinda would definitely be part. What about all the other folks that are there? Did they already know the answer? Because in the video they also do mention, if you watch the final one, that they had already, prior to this tabletop exercise, worked up what should happen, and they gave the general, well, thanks for coming, thanks for rolling the dice, you did exactly what we thought you would.
Well, it's like stress testing. You've pointed out all of our flaws.
How soon before that did they come up with that plan? I don't think it was mentioned in that video. Did they know about it for years prior, and then they just want to get a bunch of eggheads in to understand kind of like, would they do the things we think they would do? Oh, yep, they would. Oh, that part is something that we didn't think about. That's
the thing. It's stress testing. Yep. Ooh, we didn't see the fact that we could stop all air travel.
Yeah, and we didn't. Write that down. We didn't know that Johnson & Johnson baby powder would cause you cancer of the vagina if you used it as a... What were they using it for?
I think they were just putting it on the baby and then breathing it in, and it would cause cervical cancer. But I'm not an oncologist. Frankly, I'm a moron. So all I know...
You're also not a gynecologist, apparently, because I don't know how that happens.
Yeah, cause cancer somehow. But no, I mean, again, it's like anything that we overlook, let's bring in all these people and do it. And I'm not saying one way or the other. It's just like, it's interesting, the fact. Now, here is a really funny part. So again, according to this article, which there could be different stories, November 17th was the first case of it, right?
That's the first person that ate the bat.
Bats are hibernating.
Well,
What do you think of the
went
whole
to the
bat?
market. I think that part is bullshit. I am still probably 75 to 80% thinking that it came out of the Wuhan lab, either by Jim tripped over the power cord, so to speak. He forgot to wipe his shoes on the mat on the way out.
Exactly.
Or animals that they were testing on ended up in that market and were purchased and perhaps eaten, and that could be anything from monkeys to whatever happens to be. These things are being tested on, so it just weird that one gentleman happened to be walking by. Was it a Paglinian?
With
No.
the little
Like armadillo looking
armadillo anteater looking thing.
Yeah. I mean, do you walk by that, give it a quick pet, and then all of a sudden, crap, Corona, and then here we go? It's just weird. If it's traced back to one person, that one person could have walked out of the lab.
I mean, okay, so you take that first case. So we know for a fact they did event 201, October 18th. First case is on November 15th? Did we say? What is
17th?
Is that 28 days later? Please tell me that's 28 days later. God damn it!
No, it's not. It's 30 days
30
later. I think 29 to 30 days. So,
God damn it, 30 days.
Now to be clear, that was probably when he went in with symptoms. So it's 1 to 14 days. So it's possible it was 28 days later.
Well, no, think about this. Okay, so
14. How fast can he run?
5-day incubation.
1 to 14.
Well, he could run very fine before he caught a terrible lung disease.
1 to 14 days.
1 to 14 days. October 18th. I mean, that's what 20. What do we say? 30 days later. Okay, so let's say he was on the long end. He had a 14-day incubation period. That's 2 weeks from event 201. That means Bill and Melinda, they got to fly over to China. You're not going to fly directly into Wuhan. I mean, it's the last time you're going to get to see China. You'll probably see the sights and go around the country a little bit. Maybe spend, 2 weeks. Then you get to Wuhan.
I think Bill's been to China enough times watching them have to make those Windows 95 CDs by hand.
Old school China shit. I don't know, man. The whole thing, it's just like, really? Within a month? The exact same fucking thing that you guys predicted happened? Within a month. A month.
The only thing that wasn't quite in the plan was that it started in a population center versus a rural area. So
that's right.
Does that mean that they are trying to speed it up? Right? If they had started out in Mongolia, for example, or South America somewhere on some, farmer's farm, obviously, will we be in this position we are today, or because they went through the egghead briefing, ended up going, we're going to put this sucker in a major population area right away after they heard the plans of what Johnson & Johnson, UPS, the Chinese CDC that was there, the U.S. military was there.
Literally everybody you've heard talk about the current was there. I mean, everybody.
No, none of these people are members of the Illuminati at all. These are all...
No. This is the D-listers of the Illuminati.
No. These are casualties that will be gladly accepted by the Illuminati.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's like the old, like... Not that I believe that the Masons are some evil Illuminati feeder group. I mean, I think if you're gonna take the Masons, if you were gonna have a group like the Masons that were doing nefarious things and you have your 33 degrees, you would have to have like two halves of it. Like one half is the regular normal 33rd degree Mason. And
And the other half wears the goat pants.
We're wearing goat masks and we're fucking each other. That's not the lodge you want to go to. But I've known Masons over the years, and it's just a bunch of dudes doing weird shit. I don't really think anything's nefarious there, but that's just me.
You just have to go to the Freemason section.
Yeah, right. I'd rather pay for my Masons. Thank you very much. So if you look at what it says, what they could have done, I mean, they lay out 5 things that we could have done to stop this. Number 1 was global business and governments should work together. And then I laughed because they said shareholders could like the idea of having money put into a fund. She was half right because shareholders like money. Outside of that, sorry, lady, it's never going to happen. Shareholders care only about money, dividends. That's it. Then number 2, governments and business. And that was the theme of this whole fucking thing was governments and business. And I just thought that was creepy. I don't like business having a say in politics. And ever since 2007 in Citizens United, at least in America, well, that ship sailed, but it was
well, to be honest, it wasn't before even Citizens United. I mean, business has always been the driving force.
But Citizens United was the death nail for democracy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we got past the point of being able to stop the railroad barons and the oil barons.
Yeah, they definitely drank our milkshake.
Yep. In the end, evil always wins.
Yeah, it's definitely seeming that way. I mean, they talk about the second thing they could do is governments and business could plan now, and lesser governments could reach out to bigger governments and give them a list of what they need. Probably never going to happen. Then they talked about number 3, business and governments work with the WHO to stockpile medical gear. And a big part of that was funding. They can do this by funding the World Health Organization more. So they're talking about, I don't know, what's something that you might run out, hypothetically, like what, ventilators? Stockpile ventilators, so you don't run out.
That's not a problem. We're going back to the Korean War. We're doing the Defense Production Act. That way we can start retooling factories to provide more ventilators and such. I mean, in France, Louis Vuitton, the group that owns all the different perfumes, are retooling to make hand sanitizer.
I think it's pronounced Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton died in an alley, poor and broke. Louis Vuitton is now selling a bag of questionable quality for $1,000.
God damn it, dude. If this fucking stupid goddamn bug hangs out for like a year or so, I'm going to see some fucking twat walking around with a goddamn Louis Vuitton N95 mask. I fucking know it, and I fucking hate that idea, and I can see it all now. Ooh, you can tell her Louis Vuitton N95 mask is not a real Louis Vuitton because the L and the V are cut off on it. That's how you always know. Fuck.
But how will I be able to accurately place people in a societal structure if I can't tell what kind of N95 mask they're wearing?
Easy, dipshit. They're watching their car. Come on. And their phone.
I've seen some people with some Louis Vuitton bags come out of some Corollas.
Yeah, that's why they're in the Corolla.
Hey, priorities.
If you're buying a $5,000 purse, you are an asshole.
Yeah. I mean, either a rich asshole or just a vain asshole.
Again, like if you self-made $100 million, absolutely, you know what, fucking spoil yourself. But if you make under $500,000 a year and you're buying a $5,000 purse, you're probably an asshole. That's really all there's. I cannot. I got no other way for that. Like, I'm not telling you to go buy a $20 JanSport backpack and get a nice $500 purse or something like that.
I got through all of high school with a JanSport backpack.
Absolutely, worked good for me. Probably lasts a hell of a lot longer than an LV bag, but that's a different rabbit hole. The purse barons, but
Marketing is an interesting conspiracy. We'll get to that in a future episode.
And advertising. That'll be fun. But you talk about like, I saw Dr. Drew, and for some reason, like an asshole, I know this guy's a Hollywood doctor, but I was watching him, because I've been pretty worked up about this for a couple weeks, and I was watching him, and he's like, "Stop panicking! You guys are being stupid." This is like 8 days ago. Yes, fly, go to a Laker game. And then I saw him with the head of Kaiser Permanente within the last week. We're not going to run out of ventilators, like berating the audience, right? And again, I fully understand this guy detoxes people on television for a fucking living. I'm not saying he is the paramount kind of archetype of morals here, but it made me feel better.
But on a scale of doctors, specifically TV doctors, magnitudes higher than Dr. Oz, which was on the front page of Fox News a week or so ago, as Dr. Oz's tips for getting through the coronavirus.
So I see Dr. Drew at the head of Kaiser Permanente for California. We're not going to run out of. He was so condescending too, and she's like, "Absolutely not, Dr. Drew. You are right. We've got plenty of equipment." Trying to cool everybody's heels. Yeah, now this week, we're out of ventilators. And two things. This whole thing reached critical mass when I saw Dr. Oz and Dr. Drew talking about the coronavirus. And Dr. Oz sounded like the sensible one. We're in the upside down.
Well, the day that I have to turn to Dr. Oz for legit medical advice, care, or even just how to treat a zit is the day that I just say fuck it.
It's Corona time.
Yeah, I'm out there licking the banisters from the bottom up. That's the real way you get it.
You're a savage. Well, they talk about the ventilators and stuff, and corporate interest in this. And that. We don't get sick, people. If you're listening to this and you're healthy, fucking keep it that way. Lay the fuck low for a couple weeks.
And whatever you do, don't 3D print a ventilator like those guys in Italy did. To save lives. You might get sued.
Face a lawsuit. We're out of fucking ventilator tips. These two beautiful sons of bitches in Italy 3D print them. What they cost, Josh? $1?
Yeah, $1 a piece versus $10,000.
$1 a piece. Hold on. $1 or $10,000 if you get it from the company. We don't have any. So it's like you either use this $1 one printed or good fucking luck.
You know what I say?
They start printing these and the company sues them.
Well, to be clear, which makes it actually worse, is they sued them after they contacted them for the blueprints to be able to 3D print them. So they reached out to the company first, and the company said, lawsuit, even before they started printing them.
Jesus Christ. When this thing cools down, like these are the people. No. I want the Running Man on TV, and I want you to take all these ball washing bastards that do this type of stuff. I want that bitch that raised the price of insulin 900%. I want that Martin Scarelli guy. I want all them in the Running Man. And let's get Jesse Ventura. Let's get him back for that.
Yeah, get him back in there. Let's raise Randy Macho Man Savage up too.
I printed them when I was governor of Minnesota.
Yeah,
I printed them out by the thousands.
Bring them all back.
Goddamn.
Bonesaw is ready.
I'm pretty sure. Look, you want to try to fly into the guise of, they're not safe. They're not tested. Okay, how about if I'm about to die because I don't have a ventilator, I'll sign your fucking waiver. If it's that or death.
You know what I say? Just pull a China, just steal it. Print them. Give them the finger and say, come at me, bro.
Yeah. Come at me, brah. I mean, they could have sold it for $5,000. It would have been a bargain. Like, honestly, you hear about these companies. Like, that's the thing. My biggest knock on capitalism. I mean, I'm by nature, a democratic socialist. There, I said it. Like, it's a bad word. Like, no, I believe capitalism has its place, but don't feed me this fucking bullshit line about, capitalism drives innovation. Maybe to a point, but it's not been that way for quite some time. Spend more money on fucking advertising than they do on R&D, most of these medical companies, which is another weird one.
Well, that'll fit into the episode about advertising and marketing.
Well, and they talk about a little Edward Bernays for that ass. It's coming. The fourth thing that they talked about was travel to work with governments to keep trade. I mean, and that's critical. We're not even in the tunnel yet, I fear. We can see the tunnel, but we're not in it yet. You flash forward 2 weeks, it's going to be pretty fucking sporty. And I think the most critical thing in this time is, I didn't see anything about this in Event 201, but outside of medical, EMS, police, all that, the next most important person in my mind, as far as workforce, goddamn delivery drivers, grocery store workers. These people really just, they're out there. It reminds me of that thing from Fight Club, we cook your meals, we wash your food, we guard you while you sleep. Do not fuck with us.
Well,
these are the most important thing we got.
Yeah, that's why they're excluded from that shelter in place for 8 weeks in the Bay Area.
Right? Anybody out there doing that, email us. Send us an email. Tell me what the vibe's like around there. Like, and fucking from the bottom of my heart, thank you. If you work for, Amazon announced they're hiring 100,000 people and they're paying them $2 more an hour. Go fuck yourself, Jeff Bezos. How much more money are you making on this?
I agree. You got Jeff Bezos that could be trying to get more equipment in. You have Ma in China who's sending us a whole bunch of equipment and supplies to help fight the coronavirus, but our own billionaires, the ones that haven't, started this whole thing, I don't think they've offered to help at all. Elon Musk thinks it's not a big deal. He hasn't offered a penny. Bezos hasn't. About the best that Amazon's done is, stopped accepting shipments of non, staple items into their warehouses, which great. Now I can, have my toilet paper delivered within 2 hours, but not $100 billion. You could
kick down Jeff Bezos. Stop being a cunt.
Call up that ventilator company, buy that fucking patent.
Open
say
source.
It's free.
Open source.
Yep.
And seriously, like if you own the patent on that, just even trying to think of it from a kind of capitalist slant, like that is a beautiful fucking PR move.
Suing?
Hey, no, governments. Hey, we're going to let this out open source. Wash our back when it comes to tax time or whatever you want to do. Like there should be something like that.
I'm sure there could be. It could be like, hey, government, this is gonna, if we open source, it's gonna cost us $1 billion. Give us that $1 billion. Take the money up front.
Yeah, something. But again, like the people out there that are doing these sorts of things, like, man, you have my fucking deepest gratitude. I can't thank you enough. Like, I've been put out this thing of for our delivery drivers. It's a box with the little repurposed 5-hour energy shots with, dial gold antibacterial soap, gloves, a thank you note to every one of them. Like, thank you. We're getting our milk delivered today. And I put a mask in there for my delivery guy, some gloves and a note, like a couple extra bucks. Like, thank you. Please continue to do what you're doing because you are keeping society together.
Yep. Keep remembering to order takeout or delivery from any restaurant that you happen to enjoy, because they're going to, not if you don't try and throw some bucks their way. Maybe not go into the restaurant because you can't, but definitely try and order from them, get delivery, get takeout. Obviously, take everything out of the package and wash your hands before doing anything else. But make sure you support those small guys, because chances are the folks that are getting bailed out will be. This is a conspiracy podcast, so it's going to be the folks that have their hands in everything already, that are just enriching themselves.
Notice how he said it's a conspiracy podcast, not a conspiracy theory podcast, because that's just a fucking fact at this point.
That's right. We try and deal in facts.
And that's it. Like again, like if you don't fucking hoard things. Don't be a cunt. Just god damn it, take care of each other.
Yeah,
Like you don't need a million rolls of toilet paper when your neighbor doesn't have any. You know, get used to bartering. The barter system could be very big in 2021.
I agree. You don't need Rosie O'Donnell coming back for a second show to raise money for toilet paper after she does it for Broadway here pretty soon.
If that's happening, I welcome the apocalypse.
Oh, it's happening. It is
Is it?
happening. Oh yeah.
Again, like just you got come on, people. We got to take care of each other in these times. Let's show these fucking governments that we're not petulant children, right? We can take care of each other. Just fucking if you have so much and your neighbor has nothing, fucking share with your neighbor, right? Keep society together, okay? And everybody out there, not that I think we're gonna have any billionaires listening to this, but if we do, hey, I fucking hate you. You don't need $1 billion. That's $1,000,000,000. How can you take so much and leave so little for the rest of us? Like kick
What do you
down.
mean? They're providing jobs for us?
Oh shit, that's right. I totally forgot. They're not just taking their capital and investing it into a fiat market and letting it make more of nothing from nothing. Can't get something from nothing. How's that go?
It's called I have a whole lot of money and I really own the government.
Right. And I will buy my politicians by the gross. It's there's a great book out there by Sebastian Younger called Tribe, and everybody out there needs to stop what they're doing. There's actually a full audio link of it on YouTube, but buy the book, support him. It's a very short read, but it talks about how our humans are tribal, man. I mean, we're so disconnected in today's society that, how many of you out there know who your neighbors are? Probably not that many, but in times of great struggle, mental health can actually and is historically better than it is in the good times, as it were. They talked about he talks about during the Blitzkrieg, and the bombing of London, like because people came together. They hunkered in the underground of London, and it was rich man next to poor man, and everybody was in it together. And that's all I'm saying. Like we can just pull together on some fucking level, take care of each other. Because again, when I give my mail lady a mask, I'm giving it to her because she's an absolute sweetheart, but it's also in my best interests to keep her fucking healthy and keep her delivering my mail, right? It's good for everybody. It sounds cliche, but the chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
Absolutely. Make sure you're given to the things that you might need also in the future. Your food banks.
That's why we
Anyone
pay into
that's
unemployment.
yep. If you can get it anytime soon.
Well, yeah. What are they saying? Here in the Rocky Mountains, it was what 14,000 people, dude.
Yeah, total 10,000 probably right after the restaurants and bars were shut down. I mean, you have a bunch of folks that got laid off. They're keeping some around as a lot of these places are turning to, delivering food or doing takeout. And I can't tell you how many emails I've gotten from some of my favorite restaurants begging for support, buying a gift card, letting us know that they're still there. Because if they don't make it through this, we're going to be stuck with the super large corporations, even just for food, right? Your McDonald's, your Taco Bell. Forget about the local Italian place. You're going to Buca di Beppo, and you're going to enjoy the blandness that is Buca di Beppo.
Homogenization or death. I mean, whew, it's all coming in. I mean, again, and think about like the homeless population too. There's 60,000 homeless people in LA County alone. What happens when this thing starts burning through there? Is it in your best? And again, I don't want to say LA, but like take the city you live in. Whatever city you live in probably has if it's a major city, probably has a large homeless population. Now, is it in your interests? Like take what Denver has I mean, I don't know how they get these statistics, but it's 5,775 homeless people. That was pretty very precise number, which is odd, but it's in my best interests to keep them healthy because then the disease doesn't spread. So again, humans take care of each other because it should be symbiotic, not this parasitic relationship we have with these, big ass Amazons of the world. And don't get me wrong, I fucking shop on Amazon all the time because I'm a hypocrite. But you get what I'm saying.
But what about my Louis Vuitton bag?
Only an N95 mask, and only if you buy two.
One for me and then one also for me?
For your mail lady. We've established that. I don't know. The last thing that they said that we could have done, and they talked about this dovetails nicely with the ventilators, is governments can work together to provide surge manufacturing. So basically wartime manufacturing. How can we ramp up the production in the country for ventilators and masks and gloves and food and toilet paper?
Which is something that we did as of today.
And we had how long to prepare?
Well, you got to remember, according to the leadership, at least in the United States, this is a Chinese virus as of 2 days ago. So,
Kung flu.
We did
It was today too, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, when they asked our dear leader how he would rate his administration's response to this, he said a 10.
Yep.
A scale of 10. So
10 out of 10. Actually, it was on a scale of 10 or 9 out of 9. How would you rate yourself? I think he gave himself a 10.
Yeah. I mean, all you have to do is, as we've said in this, again, conspiracy podcast, not conspiracy theory podcast, follow the money. All these acts always end up happening after the market drops. Go look at the announcements, look at the peaks and valleys. It's been mostly a valley, but when you look at the bumps, it's usually something that has given Wall Street a nice warm fuzzy feeling. When we get that check, supposedly, if Rand Paul doesn't screw it up again, which if anyone knows Rand Paul's neighbors, contact them, see if anyone's willing to go over there and kick him in the ass again. But when we get those checks, right? Who's benefiting from that? Probably very large corporations, while these small businesses are closed because they can't afford to pay anyone. So,
again, guys, it's in your interest to keep small businesses afloat. I've been guilty in the past. Why would I mean? And again, I feel like an asshole. And it depends on your financial spot.
Or if you know him, kind of an asshole. But that's just a personal opinion.
That's probably an accurate one too. But before all this, like I would go shop at I would pay more at a little mom and pop store because I liked the idea of that little mom and pop store being there. Now, I didn't always do this. And if you're, paycheck to paycheck, I totally get it. That's understandable. But if you can, just pay a little extra, man. Because again, it's once all those mom and pop places are gone and the big box stores can charge you whatever the fuck they want, the prices aren't going to be cheaper. You get what I'm saying? Like it is in your interests to take care of people in your community. You can be selfish and altruistic at the same time. It's
and that's true. Also keep in mind that, and hypocritical as it is, right? Every time you order from Amazon, as they've pivoted away from even another giant corporation like UPS and such, you are furthering the gig economy, which means no benefits, no wages, for these companies. And it just reduces their costs, and we're helping them become what Amazon is, right? If it wasn't for us willing to, save 25 cents, would Amazon be where it is today? We've already destroyed most bookstores. I think Powell's Books in Portland closed.
The Tattered Cover in Denver is still going strong. And if you're fucking in town, go to the Tattered Cover in Denver. Very ass end of 16th Street Mall by Union Station. My favorite bookstore.
Or if you happen to be traveling and happen to fly into Denver, there's also a shop at the Denver International Airport. I suggest going in there, buy a book, look for the tunnels, which would actually be a really good episode we should do about
we're
Denver
definitely
International.
I was there recently, and they, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, it's there's a great conspiracy that the Denver International Airport. Yeah, these are conspiracy theories that the Denver International Airport is a secret underground Illuminati bunker, and this is due to the fact that it was like billions over budget, way longer, a bunch of weird tunnels everywhere. None of it added up. But when I flew out for something six months ago or so, and they have remodeling posters up all across the airports of lizard construction workers saying, "Sorry, we're just remodeling our underground tunnels. Won't be much." I'm like, "Oh, you cheeky bastards!" But there's some really weird art there, and it's a fun one. It's definitely a fun theory.
But is that the Illuminati tipping their hand again?
It very well could be. You see?
It could be that. Also, we'll get into it. I mean, there's a lot about it. Denver International being designed to be or being designed to be a swastika from the air. As a tribute to Nazi rule back in the day. So we'll get to it. But yeah, check out the tattered cover while you're there. All in all, make sure you're supporting your local businesses. Really. I hesitate to say don't, go to larger franchises like Taco Bell and stuff, because, a lot of those franchises are owned by, local people. So just do what you can to take care of folks.
Just take care of each other, guys. I mean, again, just fucking, if you have a lot, and this is something that can be done on an individual level. Everybody can get on, Facebook and WhatsApp and create community pages and for while the pandemic's still raging, needs, wants, barters, X, Y, and Z. Connect, help out your community, help out each other. And that's a big thing they talked about on in Event 201 is the impact that social media would have, which is fascinating if you think about it, because this is the first kind of event like this we've had where social media is there. So disinformation is everywhere. Shit. Who knows what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. All you have to do is just look at a coronavirus hashtag, scroll through it, and you will see some folks that you question how they're able to log onto the internet. And if you're listening to this podcast, welcome. I'm glad you were able to figure out how to download this podcast.
If you're one of those people, we appreciate your patronage. We really do.
Yes. And this is not about you specifically, other people.
The other ones, not you, because you know what's up. That's why you're here. But the other ones, you guys suck. I mean, seriously, scroll through some of these hashtags. It's just like the worst that the internet has to offer. Fucking Jews. Just nonstop, man. Terrible. But that's a good point they brought up is disinformation's everywhere. Who knows what to believe nowadays?
That's absolutely true. And especially when you start seeing, the quote unquote leader of the free world, Donald Trump, which is a scary thought, saying that the disease is a Chinese disease. Might start in China, but it's not a Chinese disease. And you're starting to see a lot, well, I wouldn't say a lot more bold racism, but because we are going after the Jews, to your point earlier, but a lot of anti-Asian sentiment that is out there today, just because of what Trump says about this. That's another way of manipulating the public into not, would be the right word, James, would probably be taking the focus off yourself for your ineptitude at responding to this pandemic because you're too concerned about how the markets look, the money.
It's all smoke and mirrors, man. He's just a huckster, sleight of hand, and again, pay close attention to Washington as to what they're putting through nowadays, because when we're all busy paying attention to this, goddamn well, they are ramroding some legislation through. Never waste a good crisis. Just look what they're starting to do with end-to-end encryption right now. Guarantee you that's going to slide through.
Now, there's
But the
no
good
like,
news is, if it really is if this flu really is made in China, it'll break within a month and be over.
that's true. I would say also, when you look at lost my thought, so I'll delete that. When you look at just what you have happening, you'd have to wonder who is kind of manipulating our government's response. Who would benefit from us not acting quicker? Would it be someone who happens to have hotels? I would hate to sit there and say you can't have gatherings that are that large. You have other interests out there, perhaps in the old pharmaceutical industry, that would love for everyone to get infected. They've waived our copays though, so don't worry about that $20 to $50 you have to pay. But they certainly aren't going to waive costs for treatment though, because that might eat into the bottom line of something that we pay in for. I mean, I don't know what your insurance looks like. I look at my paycheck every week, and I see a lot of money going to them, and I'm not really seeing where that benefit's coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's the old Chris Rock, in case shit happen. Well, if shit don't happen, why don't I get my money back? Again, we need to, I would love, and this is just a pipe dream, but it could happen, because God damn it, you look at some of the stuff online, and what these people are going through. Like, it could happen. We could come together as 99% and just take care of each other. Give that 1.1%, 1% a big fat fuck you. The human spirit's pretty fucking amazing, man. Like, it's obviously been an emotional roller coaster, this whole thing. And you see videos coming out of Italy where these people are like bursting out into fucking choruses of Queen, like, that's just amazing stuff to me. They're all quarantined, but they're all in it. And now, again, 2 days from now, they'll be feasting on each other's blood. I get it, but not now. They are all singing together. We're all in this together. And no matter where you are in the world, there's not a spot that you, me, Josh, we're all in the same boat. We are all in this shit together. And it's really important we remember that, again, like, in times of crisis and strife, it's like, you either fold or you rise to it. I hope we can collectively as a species kind of come together on this one, man.
Well, I think we kind of have to. Or we're going to let Bill Gates and the rest of them win.
Yeah, the geek shall inherit the earth, huh?
Well, that was part of what is out there, right? Is that this is also a ploy for population control on the part of the elite. Maybe that's why you're not seeing Bezos, you're not seeing Elon, you're not seeing anyone donating even $1 billion each. Could How many 3D printed ventilators would that mean?
I mean, and not to mention Jeff Bezos just so happened to dump a fuck ton of Amazon stock right before the bubble burst. Kind of right there.
And we're not saying that it's related, but we're saying it's related.
And I mean, I don't know. I work for a major corporation, and all of our communications are kind of coming out lockstep with the White House. Very odd. We've gotten some communications, and then like 10 minutes later, the president's at the podium. So, big business is right there in on the calls.
And I would agree. I also at one time worked for a major corporation, now working for a smaller corporation, and they have no idea what the fuck's going on. So, yeah, big pockets are fine, like most things. I think one of the themes of this conspiracy podcast is follow the money, who benefits, that's where you'll find the real conspiracies. That's where you get past some of the theories, is who benefits from something happening, who benefits from the moon landing happening.
And I take the moon landing. Good God, like there's so much. Oh, my milk's being delivered. That's exciting.
Hopefully with multiple layers of gloves.
Yeah, I'm looking at the old security cam, and I don't see a hazmat suit. I'm gonna make sure he's not licking the milk, though. That'd be awkward.
Nah,
Hope
just
he,
Lysol it. You're good.
hope he enjoys his little extra stuff there. But like I said, again, it's in my interest to keep this man healthy. So stay healthy, sir, and keep delivering that wonderful, wonderful dairy poison. Yeah, because again, growing up in the 80s, I was told milk was good for me. Turns out it's not. It's actually really fucking bad for me, but it's still really delicious.
I don't think I can imagine a life without cow juice.
It's not one worth living, if you ask me. But I don't know. I mean, that's really all I got on this one. We'll be kind of. I think eventually there'll be a way to draw some big grand narrative on all these conspiracies. Because again, I firmly believe at this point there's maybe you could probably fit them with adequate social distancing on a 747 amount of people that really are calling a lot of shots for a lot of the stuff that we see on our day-to-day lives.
And keep in mind that even if we boil it down just to the coronavirus, it probably is that same 747 that is calling the shots, right? I mean, it's not a large amount of folks that are doing it. It's going to be a very small population that is deciding for us what the response will be, how it's treated.
Well, that's it. I mean, like I said, you even take who benefits and follow the money, and that's a big big thing there. And again, the moon landing. I'm not an astrophysicist. I know very little about space. The whole thing sounds really fucking suspect to me, and I can tell you there is a massive benefit to faking the moon landing, but who knows on that one. I've heard Neil deGrasse Tyson lay it out very eloquently, but at the same time, I'm still doesn't really add up. But like I said, I'm a functioning idiot, so what do I know?
And also a flat earther.
That's where I draw the line. I draw the line at lizard people and flat Earth. I assure you, there are no lizard people outside of Denver International Airport, and I assure you, the current globe that is infected with corona is in fact a globe.
Would corona's spread be less if we were flat?
I think it would. I mean, the graphs on the air travel always kind of show a nice yaw to it. So, as the crow flies, I guess. But if there is any flat earthers out there listening, please give me the best you got. I would love to be sold that, because I'm an idiot and I like to be sold stuff. So I would be very, very interested to hear you close me on the notion that we're living on a fucking dinner plate.
And we'd love to have you on the show to talk through that.
We'll need some bona fides, though, right?
Yep.
I want a doctorate in flat earthedness. Is there a doctorate?
Flat earthology?
Flirtology? Yeah, no,
Yep.
That's the ladies' man. He's a flirtologist.
Or at the very least, you have to have your own podcast.
That's it. 100 downloads. We'll set the bar very low.
Or a YouTube channel with at least 100 subscribers, and we'll be willing to entertain a live stream.
If it's a YouTube channel, though, I demand that there is a whiteboard that you are frantically scribbling on in the background. And like I said, I think the thing with flat earthers is I'd be very curious to know. I think the majority of flat earthers are Christians, because I think that you got to have that. And I say Christians because Christians seem like the type that would believe that, as far as all the organized religions are concerned.
All Christians or the snake handling Christians?
Absolutely snake handling. I don't think they've given it much thought. I think the rattlesnake neurotoxins already kind of fucked them up enough. But no, I'm pretty sure that the overwhelming majority of flat earth, and I might be wrong, please email us, let us know. But I think the overwhelming majority of flat earthers are God-fearing Christians, because how the fuck can you believe that unless you believe that God made everything and made this special because you're special, XYZ.
now I'm really kind of curious to go and start Googling to see if there's any.
Is there a census for flat earthers?
They're probably, I mean, I just got the census mail on them today. So
Well, that's
I
a
mean,
whole other conspiracy there. That's a good one too.
yeah, that could be another one, but I haven't checked to see if Do You Believe in Flat Earth is on there, which would be good because then we could identify these people.
It'd be really handy to have that done. The firmament. I think the whole thing was spawned from the little bit I know about it. I think the whole thing was spawned out of somebody saying firmament in the Bible, and I think firmament means like flat or some shit like that. It's again, God bless you out there. If you're a flat earther, fucking God bless you. Why don't you come over to my side and believe the world is in fact round and that a bunch of rich, evil cunts are secretly pulling the strings to damn near everything?
Well, except I would tell you that you're wrong. The Earth isn't round.
Yeah, it's more of an egg.
It's oblate.
Yeah, from what I come to understand. Maybe it's an Easter thing, huh?
Yeah, I suggest everyone read Neil deGrasse Tyson's little quick book for physics for folks in a hurry. Not sure that's exactly the title, but it's a really good one that you can pretty much blow through in about 2 hours. So 3 or 4 trips to the restroom.
Yeah, I read it. You're talking astrophysics for people in a hurry. Yeah, it's good. It kind of, I mean, again, as an idiot, I could keep up with maybe 10% of what he was saying. So that worked out. I will tell you, I tried to read Stephen Hawking's book.
A Brief History of Time.
Woo! Good luck with that.
And that was him simplifying it. So
Yeah, that's the worst part. It's like, okay, Stephen, take this and explain it as though you would to a 5-year-old child. And I was still completely lost. Completely. And I've tried like 4 or 5 times to read that book. I made it about halfway. I'm like, I'm dumb. My monkey brain is not equipped to handle a lot of those concepts. But what it is equipped to handle is Event 201. But you're probably not, because if this is the first you're hearing of it, I guarantee you it'll blow your fucking mind. Just Google it and go to the official Event 201 webpage.
Which is centerforhealthsecurity.org/event 201.
And if you're anything like me, click videos and highlights. Spells it all out for you, man. It's fucking creepy. But
and if you're like me and want to look at the actual model, click on resources, and you can look at the model itself, with the nice little Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation logo all over it.
Yeah, I'm just waiting until these engineered bioweapons have to have little like Microsoft logos embedded into the RNA wall.
Start me up.
Yep. Well, that's all I got, Josh. What about you?
I think that's it for this particular episode. We'll be back soon with a little bit shorter bonus episode here soon on the Shermans. If you haven't heard about the Shermans, take a look and kind of prepare yourself for our thoughts and feelings. 2 billionaires found dead in their home in Toronto. Look at the way they were found dead. Ask yourself if you'd be able to do that.
Hashtag Clinton body count. Hashtag feminism.
Hashtag I don't think even under the most amount of cocaine could I ever get myself into that position. But we will be doing an episode on that. We'll do a little shorter one than this opus. Look for that coming soon. We also have a couple other things in the hopper to talk about. Some more conspiracies that relate back to the Clintons. They have quite the body count and quite a bit of money, which is kind of the theme.
Usually go hand in hand.
Yep.
Well, and I'll tell you what, like as with everything, this is it's been a lot of coronavirus news lately, and fuck, how can it not be with everything moving around? Because again, in the age of information with the 24-minute news cycle, shit's changing all the time. And I don't know about you guys out there, but I'll say this, maybe I lean towards conspiracy theories because it makes me feel a little bit better at the notion that somebody at least knows what the fuck is going on in this life, and somebody is kind of yanking strings and pulling levers. I mean, if it is all just absolute random chaos and ineptitude, like that's a tough pill to swallow. I'd rather it be evil 0.1 percenters controlling our fates. That's easier to stomach for me. But yeah, as with everything, let us know what you think. Drop us if you like it. Hit that 5-star little pentagram action, huh? Give us the old pent. And if you don't, rate us whatever you feel. But the one thing I would ask is if you do rate us less than 5 stars, tell us what we can do to get better. You know, we're cooped up at home, got a lot of fucking time right now. So tell us what we can do to get better. And if you have any cool conspiracies out there that you'd like to see us dive into, go ahead and shoot us an email.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They can find all that where?
You can go ahead and email us at josh@theconspirati.com or james@theconspirati.com if you'd rather talk to him. Just know that he may not check his email, and if he does, you get random gifts as a response. So
I might send you a dick pic.
That's true. And I've seen
not my dick. It's just a dick pic. I carry a stable of dick pics.
And I've only seen 1 through 59 so far. And
well, wait till you get to number 201. That's a real treat.
I know. I've got a lot more emails to send. But I want to thank everyone for joining the Conspirati podcast. This is Josh and James, and we'll be signing off for now and be back soon.
Take care of each other, you fucks.
Yep. Support your local businesses. Support the folks that are still out there working for you. And we'll get through this one, providing that our evil overlords are at least smart enough to pull the right strings to not kill us all.